Tributes keep pouring in for Judge Damon J, even as we wait to hear information about his final farewell. The civil rights icon died on Sunday, and his life reads like an American history book. Well, today, our Paula Tubman takes us into his private judge's chambers to show us pieces of his story and some things you probably didn't know about him.
You know, just walking through his office is incredible, and seeing the pictures with all of the great figures in history. You know what? At 96 years old, Judge Keith was not retired. He was still on the bench. He was still hearing cases. He was actually at work just last Thursday. The people who know him best and love him say, sure, he moved a little slower, but he was still vital and vibrant, so much so that many of them thought that this was a man who may have actually found a way to cheat death.
Pretty holy space right now, right here with Kennedy. You know, Martin Luther King. And here's one with Rosa Parks and the Mandelas.
But for him, there may have never been a him. But for him, there would have never been a her. His rulings affected every fiber of the threads that make this nation a tapestry of what it is.
And then you have a wall like this.
Chief Judge Denise Page Hood took us on a tour of a life well lived in service of others, captured a frame at a time.
But for Judge Keith being in all the positions he was in, most of us would not have been there. I certainly wouldn't have been a judge.
Judge Damon J. Keith was still hearing cases, and so even at his age, there is still a sense of shock and sadness that his final case was his Judgment Day Sunday morning. A restful slumber that slipped into the meeting with his Lord and the love of his life for 50 years, waiting patiently to be reunited.
Every time he would go anywhere, he would talk about her and how important she was to him and how much he loved her and his daughters.
He leaves behind family, friends, and a grateful nation. The history of so much of what he's done left behind on the walls of his chambers, where he spent the better part of a 52-year career as one of the longest sitting federal judges, participating in the very underpinnings of our democracy.
A picture with Thurgood Marshall right in the front. And that was a way to educate people, not only students, but also adults, about what the 14th Amendment meant to them.
The 14th Amendment, by the way, provides for and ensures due process. His rulings touched every facet of all of our lives: labor, housing, education, privacy, and yes, civil rights and equality.
He had the ability at the time that he was coming along to really bring together people who were in different communities.
You know, a life well lived indeed, but his passing is still a huge surprise. Coming up at 5, we speak to his eldest daughter and also find out that his last words to his staff on Thursday were, "See you Monday." Karen?
Gosh, his office just gives you goosebumps looking at through all of those different photographs. We look forward to your report tonight at 5. Thank you, Paula.